Alright, so development update. I'm Mod Keeper, the executive producer for RuneScape. I wrote it, so the person that replaced Mod Warden. I wrote a blog post a few months ago to introduce myself, describe my work, and outline some upcoming content. As we get to the end of our announced roadmap from earlier this year, I want to share some more updates, especially as I know you've been eager to know what's coming up in RuneScape. So this is the roadmap. So before we delve into that, we'll just read the rest of the post. This summer marked the beginning of a new storyline, Legacy of Zamorak, and based on the packed leaderboards for the Zamorak boss, plenty of you have already gotten involved. Over the months ahead, we'll continue the narrative with the addition of some smaller content, including a quest which may or may not mark the start of a new adventure. By the end of the year, a further addition will be made to the wilderness, which was recently reborn into a brand new high-risk PvM area for courageous players to venture into. This new content is called Wilderness Events, and it's dropping in October. Is the wilderness dangerous? I swear the time that I spent testing the wilderness and engaging with the content within the wilderness, primarily Slayer, I didn't feel like it was dangerous at all. I've never felt safer in the wildy. Yeah, I mean, yeah. They keep trying to push it as being dangerous. I think I'm not going to go too much into it, but basically my suggestion was for them to just completely scrap the whole like risk, like the risks involved in the wilderness. And it would make sense because you're also exiling Zamorak at the same time, right? Which kind of frees up the wilderness of its dangers. So yeah, I don't know. Because I don't think you can have like a middle ground. Because the end result is that it's not dangerous, right? I think if anything, like low-level players and skillers would get fucked before PvMers would, right? Which is obviously not a good balance. Anyways, we'll also keep delivering those quality of life updates we know you love, including bringing some game jam concepts that our talented designers worked on this June into the game. You might have noticed the recent graphical revision of free-to-play areas that Mod, Black Witch, and Alex worked on, which is a fantastic example of what can be accomplished when people work on a project they are passionate about. I agree. I think the graphical reworks were really good, and I think Game Jam is huge. Like, I think the biggest strength RuneScape has is its passion. The passion within the developers to make content that they love, and the passion within players to help the community evolve to be better, right? Like through, for example, like the wiki and the PvMe Discord, etc., to name a few. Seeing the new retro overrides that you've chosen to include in the game also makes me very happy. We plan to release them all in the coming months, and I want to thank you all for engaging so massively and making this project happen. You might ask me about our plans for 2023, and normally this would be the part where I would say it's too early to talk about that yet, but there's no harm in taking a sneak peek. We've been working hard on dev cost and Grand Exchange tax update, which we hope to deliver before the end of the year. However, we want to make sure that this update addresses all of our players' concerns, so we've decided to spend a bit more time on it before it launches in early 2023. Now, I assume this also includes the extension of the max cash limit. So yeah, I think this is, I'm completely fine with this. However, I would say, like, I feel like they can lower dev costs like by like 75% in the meantime. I don't think it needs to be the way it is until this update. But like delaying the Grand Exchange update, the tax and the G limit, it's fine. Like I'm happier it being delayed than it coming out early and having issues. We'll also see the launch of a new storyline that will be woven through our next phases of content releases. I don't want to spoil anything, but rest assured there'll be a great surprise. Do you recall the prehistoric Potterington accidental fletching and fire making training from earlier this year? I certainly won't forget the sheer number of jokes and puns the development team came up with. Although I can't guarantee the same degree of wit, I'm pleased to announce that we'll have another new training method coming in 2023 as well. One thing I will say about like skilling is that if they are gonna, I'd rather them come out with less skilling methods, less training methods for skills, but have more unique and engaging and fun skilling methods. So, for example, Scarabs was a skilling method or a training method, right? That probably didn't have that much development time put into it, and that wasn't very fun, right? Big Game Hunter probably took a lot of development time, and it's a lot of fun, right? The thing is, we have so many skilling methods in RuneScape. It's so like saturated, right? So it's not like we're like hard pressed for new skilling methods. So I think if they come out with skilling methods, they should be like first and foremost fun. Like you already skip so many skilling methods in the game by doing like quests and mini games and dailies and etc. So speaking of skilling, I think it's also time for us to let you know on a big secret. For some months now, we've been working on RuneScape's new skill. Yes, you heard that correctly. If it all goes well, you'll be hearing much more about us very soon. So keep your eyes peeled. So that's where we stand on the development front. As you can see, we've got numerous exciting projects on the go, and we'll continue to listen to your feedback, update our tools and pipelines, and of course, release new content, features, and mechanics. There's loads to come in 2023 than what we've spoken about, so you can look forward to more announcements as the year progresses. We've also heard your concerns and would like to thank you about your honest feedback. This Friday, September 23rd, we'd like to invite you to a Q&A session on Reddit. You should soon see a message from our community team with additional information. This is in reference to Fresh Start Worlds. So if you have any questions for us, or is this in reference to this announcement? Wait, yeah, is this in regards? What is this in regards to? So if you have questions for us, be sure to check it out. What is this about? Because it says we've also heard your concerns. Concerns about what? Like it follows up on this on the roadmap, so it's kind of like alludes to it being about the roadmap, but there's no way it's about the roadmap, right? Because it just came out, so it must be about Fresh Start Worlds. Finally, I'd like to talk. I feel like these paragraphs need to be swapped. I'm a little bit confused. Finally, I'd like to talk about Fresh Start Worlds. We all think this event has so much potential, and our hope is that it brings more players than ever to the wonderful world of RuneScape. This is an experiment that has had so much power, had so much love poured into it, and whatever happens, it's sure to teach us the best way to continually grow the game. Basically, I think if you want to gain new and returning players, the best way to do it is by making the existing players happy with the game. They must have fun playing the game. Happy with the state of the game, right? They must have fun engaging with its content, and they have to be excited for the future of the game. These three things need to be true to gain new and returning players. And the way you retain those new and returning players is a little bit more complicated, is you have to find out why they quit in the first place. Obviously, some of them will quit because they just don't enjoy the game, or they're just busy with real life or whatever, right? But for the things that are like, for the systems, or if it's unintuitive, or if there's no like clear path to what they should do next and stuff, like that's like the game isn't perfect, and obviously like fixing that, quote unquote, is probably like way easier said than done, right? Like I imagine like making the game fully intuitive and flow really well would be like a really, really big project. But I'm not gonna go too much into it. I mean, yeah, there's 100 things you could do, right? But I don't think Fresh Start Worlds is... I think Fresh Start Worlds is a very temporary boost. It has no longevity to it, right? Because these people that play Fresh Start Worlds are going to end up quitting for the same reasons eventually, right? Like, for example, if little Timmy quit, 50 hours into the game because the game didn't, like, path them down or didn't, like, tell them what to do, then they're probably going to quit for the same reason, right? Like, RuneScape is a very broad sandbox MMO, right? It's a very, very open sandbox MMO. And a lot of people, generally, I think, would need direction to be able to play, like, MMOs. And most MMOs are pretty linear. Like, MMOs are always seen as open world, but in reality, in terms of, like, things you have to do to progress, it is extremely linear, right? RuneScape is not. RuneScape is actually, like, open world. Like, you can go anywhere, you can do anything, and it, like, there's no, like, linear progression in RuneScape. That's one of the beauties of RuneScape, but also is one of the, in my opinion, one of the hindering facts of new players playing in the long run. Huge thanks to everyone who has sent their feedback and helped us find a good balance for this event. We can't wait to see your theory crafting, heroic victories, and player-made stories as you shape these Fresh Start Worlds. Yeah, I mean, Fresh Start Worlds is just like, it's also trying to do too many things at once, right? It's trying to get new players, get returning players, get existing players, and also make it competitive, make it... it's just, I mean, I'm not going to go too much into it, right? All right, let's look at the roadmap. Let's look at the roadmap itself. All right, so development update, Legacy of Zamorak. So this is the lineup for the Legacy of Zamorak, which came out with Zamorak, then Wilderness Reborn, Wilderness Flash events, Zamorakian Civil War mini quest. Ooh, that sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty interesting. Like, I think the lore of the demons and Infernus and Infernals and etc is a very interesting one. Like, I would love to, like, delve into, like, the political side of their culture and their world. Wilderness Flash events meaning what exactly? What does Wilderness Flash events mean? Is it talking about demon flash mobs? Daughter of Chaos finale quest. I'm kind of curious what is going to happen. I'm not gonna speculate too much because I'd prefer it to be like just a full-on surprise. But I'm looking forward to this. I thought the Daughter of Chaos, like the initial quest, was pretty good. I like the fact that you could stab her as well, because I really do have this. I think we should kill her. I think we should kill Moya. She cannot be trusted. She is a volatile power. All right, she backs. I think we should make a list as the former World Guardian, right? We should make a what's the chat? What's the character from Game of Thrones? The girl from Game of Thrones who made a list and she just killed them all. Like, she made a list of all the people that betrayed her, and she just, like, murdered every single one of them. Arya, yeah. Just make a fucking list. Like, everyone that betrayed you, even once, even slightly. You just kill them all. Thoughts? Okay, Dexter. This isn't... Okay. They need to learn. Alright? It pisses me off because... the World Guardian is so naive and stupid. He is the dumbest character of any MMO universe. He is so... naive. It's infuriating. It's like... yeah, I don't know. I can't. So either solution one, make the main character not stupid, not naive, right? Develop him somewhat further as a character, like mature him, or make it so we go out and kill every single person that betrayed us. Some of us are dumb, case and point. Okay, no one no one in the history of mankind has been as dumb and naive as the World Guardian. This guy trusts everyone. Hey, go do this for me. Yes, sir. It's like the God, what was it? Oh, the Saren incident. You guys remember the Saren incident where Saren basically betrays like Gillinor and puts Gillinor at risk for her own selfish desires of being loved by the Elder Gods? And then the Elder Gods hatch on that world, and then I go back to Gillinor and I'm like, yeah, Saren said that she'll keep the eggs at bay, so I trust her. Saren basically showed her true motives, right? And almost destroyed Gillinor and did destroy Aya, right? But I trust her. It's like, how fucking stupid can you get? You know? I'm sorry, but like that to me is such shit writing. Like, how can you trust someone like that? How can you trust someone that is willing to basically decimate the entire universe just to be loved? I don't know. Anyways, in development, 2022, new Master Max capes, new skilling locations, new Master Max capes? What the hell are new Master Max capes? Chat, what are new Master Max capes? 120 max cape? Okay, that's what... Okay. 120 all? Okay. Wait, but it says capes. Plural. That's what's confusing. Yeah. Exactly, Agrith. Why does it say capes? Okay, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, sure. I'm not much of an aesthetic person. I'm not much of a cosmetic person, but sure. Skilling locations, new skilling locations, meaning existing resources in different locations. Master Max Cape 120 in all, Ramen said. So maybe it being plural is a mistype. Maybe it's saying Master Max Capes is a mistype and it's meant to be just a Master Max Cape. Anyways, to me, it doesn't really... It's not that big of a deal. Skilling locations, to me, sounds like existing skilling resources being planted in different locations. Is that true? What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be new resources? I don't think so, right? But what could they do? What is a skilling resource that needs a new spot? And if it needs a new spot, is it going to be like a boosted spot? Or is it going to be just a more convenient location? I'm kind of curious what this actually means. Woodcutting? Well, I think it's going to be gathering, right? If it says skilling locations, it makes me think gathering. Grimoire page tree? You might actually be right. It's kind of interesting. Retro overrides? Sure. Ninja strikes? Great. New JX launcher? Sure. I mean, there's not much left in this year, right? You guys are right. There's not much content coming out for the rest of the 2022, right? I would say the only things that I'm probably excited about are... I mean, excited. Like, I like a lot of the things coming out. Like, do I like Master Maxcape? Sure. Skilling location? Sure. Retro overrides? Probably don't care that much. Ninja strikes? Yes. Wilderness flash events? I don't know what that means exactly. So, but Zamorak in Civil War mini quest and the Daughter of Chaos finale quest, I'm looking forward to. I'm excited for those. Dare I say, the Zamorak in Civil War mini quest is more intriguing than the Daughter of Chaos finale quest. Yeah. Like, the thing is, you guys, like, people are probably going to be complaining, oh, there's nothing left for 2022, like, there's no content coming out. Yeah, there's no content coming out, but I feel like the quantity of content that has been coming out on RuneScape has been reasonable. Like, I don't find any issues with this. Like, I feel like RuneScape players want more content than any other game I've played. It's kind of wild. I think a lot of RuneScape players probably have like the mentality of how it used to be like back in the day. Like back in like 2007 where, you know, content was very buggy and unfinished and yeah, just generally much lower quality, right? Like, I think it's fine. Like, I think the amount of content that's been coming out in RuneScape has been good. The quantity of content coming out in RuneScape has been good. If you think there's not enough content, instead of complaining about it, just take a break and play a different game. Honestly. And I don't mean that as like a solution to your... Like, I don't think the solution of, hey, just quit the game if you don't like it is a good solution to a form of criticism. But at the same time, I think the criticism of there not being enough content is not realistic and it doesn't apply to any game. There's no game that you can play all day, every day, and for it to sustain the amount of content that you are probably looking for. It's like, how long does it take to make a movie? 2 years. How long does it take to watch a movie? 2 hours, right? You just cannot sustain like the playtime to development time can never be matched, right? Unless you make like unhealthy and unfun grinds. Like, hey, do Zammy 10,000 times to get this reward, you know? Like, that'll keep people occupied till 2023, but not in a good way. So in development, 2023 main updates. So these are obviously just the main updates. This isn't everything that's coming out in 2023. New storyline. So it's probably going to be like I'm just going to go into what I would like to see. When it comes to new storylines, I would love to explore the worlds. The world surrounding Gilnor. Like that, I would love to go to like the world where Armadillo. I want to go to like the Avian Sea world, like figure out what's going on there, like delve into their hardships, maybe like rebuild some of their cities, etc., etc. Like, I would love to go to like Infernus and like see what's going on there. Like, I would love to go to all of these worlds that have been mentioned and just basically going on a ground level adventure. You know, just delve into their culture, delve into their politics, delve into their you know, inventions, their problems, etc., etc. Like, I would love to go to Saradomin's world. I would love to, because there's nothing stopping us from doing so, right? Go to Erebus? Okay, we can't go to Erebus. But, like, that's one thing I would love. I would love that so much. That would be my favorite startup storyline to 2023. Would be to just go to like different worlds. Because I feel like Gilnor has been dried up of stories, right? There's not like, what else is there in Gilnor to explore? What story is there to delve into in Gilnor? There's not much. I feel like it's all been saturated, right? Oh, gnomes, right? Gnome storyline. Yeah, I mean, I would like, okay, sure, yes. I would love the gnome storyline to be concluded. True. But like, other than that, you know what I mean? Like, there's not much to explore, right? Like, there's not much excitement. Like, the gnome storyline is really good, right? But the idea of exploring like the gnome territory isn't as exciting as it is going to the world of the Avian Seas, you know, because the Avian Seas is something that we've never seen before, right? And it'd be much more exciting compared to, I mean, there is that world, was that mythical underground world that the gnomes reside in. What is it called? Does anyone know? Some lorehound here will know. That might be, yeah. Arposandra, yeah. What I would like to see for new storyline. Update dev costs. Again, if they want to delay the GE tax and the GE update alongside the max cash update, right? That's fine. But I think they should temporarily reduce the dev cost to a degree, like by at least 50%. By at least 50%, right? Like, I'm completely fine waiting for the GE update, right? I'm completely fine for waiting for the finalized dev cost update. But I think there should be something between now and then. I don't think it's acceptable to leave dev costs as they are until this update. They should at least do something, right? They should apply like a temporary 50% reduction for dev costs, at least. New training method. Again, I'd rather have a fresh, a training method that is exciting and new, rather than something like exciting and new in the form of like fun. Like, it has to be like fun and engaging, right? Similar to Big Game Hunter. I want something like Big Game Hunter, not something like Scarab hunting in Hex Oasis, right? So if they are going to make new training methods, it needs to be, and I really think it needs to be like mainly fun and engaging. Okay, so new quests. I mean, surely this just ties in with the new storyline, no? I don't know. I really like the way they did Elder God Wars, chat. What do you guys think of Elder God Wars being interwoven with like skilling and slaying and storyline and etc.? I really enjoyed it. And new skill? So there's a new skill coming out 2023. Am I gonna do the extreme hours again? I don't know, man. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, boys. Oh, and if there's a Matic again, Lemmy is gonna just win it. Dude, I'm pretty sure Lemmy was getting like 6 to 8 hours of sleep while everyone else was doing like 1 to 3 hours of sleep. That man was just having a good time. Rank forehead? What's the skill gonna be? That's the thing. We've recently lost our World Guardian powers, right? We're just a normal adventurer. Warding? Sailing? It's not gonna be sailing, guys. Unless... I think sailing kind of went out the door when they released ports. Treasure hunting? Clue scrolling becomes a skill. Holy shit. Another clue scroll update for the Empire. Another clue scroll update for the Empire. Godhood skill? Ooh. Ooh, what if it's a combat skill? Necromancy? Ooh. Ooh. Dude, the primitive side of me is coming out. Ooh. I would love a new combat skill. I think that'd be sick. Divination 2.0. Part of me wants to ban you for saying that. Part of me wants to just remove you from the chat. Boys, there's a timer in my auto clicker. Caught in 4K, boys. Any last words, Sandbay? Got him, boys. You're done. You're done. However, I will say that there's no bossing here. There's no combat updates. Does that mean we're not gonna get a single boss in 2023? Because if they were planning that, surely they'd put that in there, right? Wait, I just realized, are we really not gonna get a boss for like a year and a half? If the game doesn't get a boss for a year and a half, I'm probably gonna take another break. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking breaks, right? Like, honestly, like, I encourage people to take breaks from the game. I think it increases your fun per hour significantly. Like there's so many great games out there. There's like Path of Exile as like a really good action RPG. There is Destiny 2 as a good like MMO style first person shooter. There's FF14 as like a really good MMORPG with a great story. There's so many games out there, dude. There's Apex Legends as like a really good like arcade FPS a BR. Like if you're not having fun with RuneScape, just take a break. There is no game out there that is fun to play all day, every day. Okay? I encourage people to play other games. Unfortunately, RuneScape is one of the only games which has this mentality of you only play RuneScape. And if you're not playing RuneScape, you're wasting your time, right? Like if you're not playing RuneScape, then you are wasting your time by not progressing in RuneScape if you play other games. Did some Zamorak with an Ironman today. I'm essentially now an Ironman. Okay. Now, if you think that, like, yeah, I mean, there are cons with irons and mains being able being able to PvM together, right? But like the pros easily outweigh it. What are the cons? Boosting becomes more accessible, right? There are cons. Like putting it very simply, the cons are boosting becomes more accessible. The pros are you sever the friction between mains and irons. You merge two communities that have been segregated and split for such a long time. You increase the amount of people that you can PvM with, therefore you get to PvM with people more like-minded, similarly geared, similarly skilled, right? It's easier to find more players to PvM with. And the biggest one of all that people don't really talk about is you're going to make more friends. You're going to meet more people, right? Think about all the friends that you could have made if there was no restriction to begin with. Think about all the people you could have met. Think about all the fun you could have had with all these people. Think about all the communities you could have forged. Friendships, relationships. I think that's such a huge thing. Because the Ironman community is massive. Segregation between irons and mains is still going to exist after the change because these two groups of people have significantly different opinions on the game. I think you're speaking on a I think the people against this update are like a huge minority. I think the majority of Ironmen like this update. I think it's the dumbass, stupid-ass purists who don't like this update and are projected as a vocal minority on Reddit. I think if you're a purist, I said this earlier, but I think if you're a purist on anything, whether it's like a TV show, a movie, an anime, a game, I think if you're a purist in the sense that you want it to be the same because it's always been like that traditionally, you are purposely halting evolution. You are suggesting that you can't improve something. You are suggesting that the way it is perfect. It's just such delusional. It's such a delusional mindset, in my opinion. It's so illogical. It's just illogical, right? It doesn't make sense. Like you can be upset about something that has no justification, right? That has no reason. You're just feeling that way because that's just your knee-jerk reaction, or that's because the rest of the community is feeling that way. What's that mentality called where like, oh God, what's that like? If everyone in a room starts crying about something, you're more likely to cry about it than if you were in a room by yourself. Let me ask a plain question. I acknowledge that boosting is going to become more accessible. A lot easier to do, right? Which does lower the integrity of Ironman, right? That's a con of irons and mains being able to play together, right? Name me another one. Give me another con to mains and irons being able to play together. Cons, irons will have more fun playing the game. I do think, honestly, I think it's a purist mentality. I generally believe irons just don't want to interact or have the irons don't want other irons to interact with mains. They want to keep their iron communities purely iron. Like I do, but I think people have this mentality. Let's be honest, right? Let's be plain here. It's pretty fucking stupid. Splits are only other con I can think of, but that's not small. I don't even think that's an issue. Like, you choose who you go with, right? Like, if you're going with an iron, you know what you're getting yourself into, right? You agree on like terms like irons might accept mains to do more in PvM because mains can buy supplies. I feel like that's such a minor thing though. Yes, it is a thing, but it's such a small thing. Some irons don't like mainscape mentality for sure. What does that even mean? And feel weird being lumped together with them? I read that and I see that as a non-issue. I mean, if you don't like someone because of the mentality, you can just not play with them. Like this isn't like you have to play with mains. If a main has like a certain like outlook on like RuneScape and irons that you don't like, then just don't play with them. I don't know. Like you have cases like that in Mainscape, right? I played with people which have like outlooks on the game and mindset and opinions on the game that I don't like, so therefore I stop engaging with them. It's a pretty simple process in my opinion that has nothing to do with mains and irons being able to engage with each other rather than having to engage with each other. Dude, I can PvM with so many of my iron friends. Let's go. I started an Ironman for the integrity of the account. What have I got myself and the same people? What I have got myself and the same with everyone else playing that way. Now, if I can be an Ironman but just buy gear in the form of drops from other players, that's gone. Why isn't the integrity of the game style enough? I acknowledge that boosting is, but like boosting is a thing before it's, okay. Let me make something clear. Boosting existed before this update. Boosting only just becomes more accessible. What you think like a lot of like high-end irons didn't boost at some point, didn't like pay people to go on their account to do quests for them. Like this didn't just become a thing because of mains and irons being able to play together. This just became more accessible. There's a difference there. Like, what do you base your integrity on? What the average player experiences, or what a player can experience, or what a player can gain access to? Like, sure, yes, I've said this, right? I acknowledge the fact that boosting is going to become more accessible with this update, and that therefore the integrity of Ironman is lowered, right? However, I don't know. It's just like people just don't acknowledge the pros. I don't know. Could make it harder for low/mid-level irons to find teams. I've talked about this before, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So, for example, right? You have a friend that would boost you with... So let's say you have a friend with level 90 gear that is going to boost you as a level 60 gear, right? Post-update, if you guys are friends, then he's going to continue doing that, right? But if you guys aren't friends and he's just doing that as like a favor, then what's the problem with you with level 60 gear going with other people with level 60 gear, and that guy with level 90 gear going with other people with level 90 gear? Isn't that a good thing rather than a bad thing? Like, I'm saying that the people that are helping others because they're friends are going to do so regardless, and the people that aren't doing that are going to get teams that are more suited to them, which isn't a bad thing. Like, what you're referring to is essentially boosting in itself, which is what kind of like damages the integrity of Ironman anyways, no? I mean, for me, the game should be fun, and this allows for more people to play together, so that's more fun. I don't get the whole boosting is easier thing. I mean, that's objective. Like, boosting becoming more easier and more accessible is true, though. It is true. Like, it's objectively true, but like, and I acknowledge that that's not a good thing, but like, realistically, I think the pros of irons and mains being able to play together, like, listen, dude, like, Irons and mains have been separated for way too long. There's been such a massive split between the two communities through segregation, right? Of not being able to interact with each other, not being able to play with each other. And therefore, it's created a lot of friction between the two communities. Not only are you guys split from being able to engage with each other, but you're also like, you create this mentality of us versus them, which is unhealthy. And it's quite prevalent like through this update and what people have been saying because of this update, right? Like you can clearly tell that there's a lot of like genuine hatred and toxicity between the two communities. Like, number one, that, right? Number two, think about all the friends you could make. Think about all the people you can meet. Like, to me, that alone is such a big thing. Like, we're playing an MMO. MMOs are generally like very social games, right? Like, it's all about like the experiences and the journey and meeting people, right? But yet you guys are purposely restricting yourselves of engaging with like 50% of the community. For what? I'm getting kind of riled up over this, I'm gonna be honest. This mentality does make me upset. God. It's just like people don't want to make friends. People don't see the value of like meeting others and playing together and making friends like that. Like, I know like that has nothing practical, right? That what I'm saying has no practical benefit, right? What I'm saying has no like efficiency standpoint. But like, I don't know, man. Think about all the friends, like, okay, sit here. Think about all the friends you have right now, right? All the friends you have from RuneScape, whether you're an Ironman or a main. Now, double that. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? How good of a thing is it? Like, come on, man. Like, you could, like, what if you're, this is like a, okay, chat. For the irons in my chat, if your potential best friend is a main, would you not want this? Like, let's say your best friend, the love of your life is a mainscape and you're an iron. Are you telling me you wouldn't want to interact with them? Like, come on, man. Like, this is such an easy fucking... They would have been converted long ago? What do you mean converted long ago? That's like saying like every relationship, every friendship, everyone sees eye to eye and everyone has the same hobbies. That's not true. Just kidding. Okay, got me. You got me. No, I want a solo adventure on RuneScape. Then stop speaking to me, Decolor. 0 times 0 equals 0? Okay, guys, come on. You guys have friends. I know you guys do. If you double 0, it's still 0. You guys, come on. I don't know. To me, it's such an exhilarating feeling to be able to be opened up to much more people, to play with much more people. Because, like, it's a reality that you stop being friends with people that like go down the route of Ironman, right? Like, if a friend of mine started playing Ironman, good. I've got a good example. You guys want me to give a good example? Perfect example. I trolled you, Ken. We used to PvM together. We used to hang out together every fucking day. Every fucking day from like 2012, 2013 to like, I don't know, 2015, 16. We used to like hang out all the fucking time. He started playing Ironman. Boom. I just stopped speaking to him. I stopped playing games with him, right? Just because, you know, he was engaged with a different... I'm not saying, you know... I'm not saying he's the bad guy, obviously. I'm not saying I'm the victim. I'm just saying that's just what he preferred playing, which I respect. But that meant that we stopped engaging with each other as much, right? We stopped hanging out as much, right? That seems like a you problem. But I'm just giving you guys a perception of what could be, right? You guys could have a Ken on the other side that you never met, that you could be like really good friends with. That just means he always hated you? Okay. Why didn't you go Iron Man with him? Bad friend. Shut up. But yeah, I mean, friends have like different hobbies, different preferences, right? But that shouldn't lock us out from being able to engage and interact with each other for, you know, the reason that isn't a big deal. Why you acting like irons don't have mains? Yeah, but how many of those irons like playing on their main? Like, no one wants to go to like a boss where they have yet to progress on their iron on their main. That just feels bad. There's no freedom in that, right? Anyways, I think that's it. I think we move on, right?